Hey, what if I told you there's a little copper coin sitting in someone's junk drawer right now that's worth 1.6 million bucks? Yep, a single penny. 1 cent. The kind we usually toss into the couch cushions or find glued to the bottom of our car's cup holder with 3 years of old soda. Well, buckle up, because today we're talking about the 1952 Abraham Lincoln penny. And if you've got one of these in the right condition, you might just be sitting on enough money to buy a house, a classic car, and still have plenty left over for a serious steak dinner. Now I know what you're thinking. A penny from 1952? I've thrown 100 of those in the Coinstar machine. Don't worry, I've been there too. In fact, let me tell you a little story to kick things off. A few years ago, I was at this garage sale. You know the kind, a few old lamps, a broken lawnmower, and about 17 mystery cables nobody can identify. I spotted this dusty little coffee can full of old coins. Guy says, "You can have the whole thing for $5. I said, "Make it 3 and throw in that plastic Santa missing an eye." We shook hands. I took it home. For a while, it just sat there on the shelf. One rainy Saturday, I finally decided to dump it out. I'm digging through Buffalo nickels, Mercury dimes, all kinds of random stuff, and bam! There it was. A 1952 Lincoln penny. I didn't think much of it at first. I mean, we all know about the 1909 VB and the 1943 copper, but 1952? Never heard anything crazy about it. Now, not every 1952 penny is going to make you a millionaire. But if you find one in top-notch condition, we're talking a pristine, untouched, bright red coin that looks like it just rolled off the press, it could be worth up to $1.6 million. That's because of rarity, condition, and a little thing called full red designation. More on that in a sec. The 1952 penny was struck in San Francisco. The mint produced over 137 million of them. Sounds like a lot, right? But here's the thing. Most of them were circulated, beat up, scratched, dinged, tossed in pockets and piggy banks. Finding one in uncirculated, mint red condition is rare. Like rare? Unicorn in a tuxedo rare. .1, that S mint mark right under the date. Make sure it's a clear S. Not a blob. Not a smudge. A real, defined S.2, the color. You've got brown, red brown, and full red. Full red is the gold standard. It means the coin hasn't toned or darkened. It stayed shiny, coppery, and glorious for over 70 years. .3 strike quality. Some of these coins have super sharp detail. You can see every whisker on Lincoln's beard. Those are the big money coins. And finally, condition. The best ones are graded MS67 or higher by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. That's mint state, folks. These coins never saw the inside of a vending machine. Well, here's the thing. There are only a handful of these coins known in perfect condition. Collectors go nuts for rarity. It's like the Mona Lisa of pennies. You've got rich collectors, competitive bidding wars, auction houses hyping things up. And suddenly that coin you almost swallowed as a kid is worth more than a Ferrari. That same coin that fetched 1.6 million at auction? It was sitting in someone's desk drawer. Seriously. They didn't even know it was valuable until they had it appraised. So yeah, these stories aren't just legend. They happen to real people. Now, before you start shaking down every jar of coins in your house, let me give you a few quick tips. First, get a magnifying glass. Seriously, even a cheap one from the dollar store helps. Second, check for that S mint mark. No mint mark means it's from Philadelphia. AD means Denver. You want the S. Third, look at the color. If it looks bright and reddish like it's barely aged, you might have a winner. Fourth, consider getting it graded if you think you've got something special. It'll cost you a bit up front, but it can make all the difference if you want to sell. Fifth, don't clean your coin. Ever. Not with a toothbrush. Not with ketchup. Not with your grandma's silver polish. Leave it alone. Collectors want natural surfaces even if they look dirty to you. Do your homework. There are tons of resources online, coin shows, and even local coin dealers who can help you figure out what you've got. That little penny you thought was worthless? It could be the key to an early retirement, a new truck, or even your dream vacation to somewhere that doesn't serve instant coffee. The 1952 Lincoln penny might just be your golden ticket. And the best part? It could be hiding right under your nose. Now if you've got a coin jar full of old pennies, it's time to go treasure hunting. You never know what you'll find until you look. If you like this video and want more tips on coins that are actually worth money, subscribe to the channel. I've got plenty more stories, collecting strategies, and coin facts coming your way. We're talking $1,000,000 nickels, error coins worth more than your car, and even how to sell your coins the smart way. Hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and drop a comment if you've ever found a cool coin in the wild. Hey folks, grab your magnifying glasses and empty your pockets because today we're talking about a little copper coin that might just change your life. That's right, we're talking about the 2017 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. You know, the one you probably flipped into a wishing fountain last week? Yeah, that one might have been worth $1.7 million. Yep, I said million. Not thousand. Not hundred. A full-on mansion buying, yacht renting, early retirement level $1 million. I know what you're thinking. A 2017 penny? That was like 5 minutes ago. You mean to tell me that regular old coin with Honest Abe's mug on it could be hiding a goldmine of value? Oh yes, my friends. And today we're diving deep into why this particular penny is raking in serious cash, how to spot the jackpot version, and what makes it so darn special. I'll even share a personal story about how a penny almost caused a family feud at my house. So buckle up, coin lovers and accidental millionaires in waiting. This is going to be good. Okay, so let's start with the basics. The 2017 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint. That little D under the date? That's what it stands for. Nothing shady. It's not a grade, it's not an insult, just where the penny was born. In general, 2017 was not a year known for rare coins. Millions and millions of pennies were churned out. They're still rolling around in laundry machines, couch cushions, and probably the back seat of your car. So what makes one of them worth a cool $1.7 million? Well, not all pennies are created equal, my friend. Some have minting errors, some are struck on the wrong planchet, and others are so bizarre they look like the US Mint had a Monday morning hangover. The 2017 D that sold for $1.7 million? It had what's called a double die obverse with a high-grade condition that made collectors lose their minds. We're talking crystal clear doubling on Lincoln's eyes, nose, and inscriptions. It's like Abe Lincoln's face went to a funhouse mirror and came out saying cha-ching. The error that changed everything, so let's talk about that error for a second. A double die happens when the coin die, that's the stamp used to make the image, shifts just a bit when creating the design. Imagine trying to draw the same smiley face twice in the same spot and being slightly off. You'd see two eyes where there should be one. That's exactly what happens here. On the 2017 D, the doubling was dramatic enough to get certified by top grading companies. The best-known one so far was graded MS69 red by PCGS. That's near perfect condition, folks. Like, if this penny was a student, it would be the kid ruining the curve in every class. Combine a rare error with perfect condition and boom, you've got a collector bidding like it's the Super Bowl of pocket change. Well, here's the thing about the coin world. It's like the art market. A coin is worth what someone is willing to pay. And apparently, someone really wanted this penny. It was auctioned off at a high-end event, and once it got buzz, everyone and their grandmother started bidding. By the end, it had climbed to $1.7 million. I mean, imagine standing there with a paddle and thinking, yep, I'm gonna drop almost $2 million on a penny. That's not a hobby, that's a flex, but to serious collectors, this wasn't just any penny. It was a masterpiece. The error, the condition, the rarity, it checked every box. And when something checks every box in a niche world like coin collecting, the sky's the limit. The penny that nearly caused World War I. Alright, let me tell you about the time my cousin thought he found a rare penny and almost burned our family to the ground. So we're sitting at Thanksgiving, right? Everyone's stuffed with turkey, mashed potatoes, and at least one politically charged opinion. My cousin Mike pulls a 2017 D penny out of his wallet and says, this thing could be worth millions. Suddenly, everyone's an expert. Uncle Joe's squinting at it with his reading glasses upside down. Grandma's saying she remembers when a loaf of bread cost 3 cents. And my little nephew is trying to trade it for a peanut butter cookie. Long story short, we spent an hour Googling mint marks, arguing over what a double die looks like, and examining that thing like it was the Declaration of Independence. Turned out it was just a regular penny. Worth 1 cent. But for a solid hour, that coin was the MVP of Thanksgiving. Even if your penny isn't worth $1.7 million, it can still cause chaos, bring people together, and make for one heck of a story. Okay, back to business. You're probably wondering how to tell if you have a 2017 D million dollar penny. Here's what to look for. First, check for that little D mint mark under the date. Gotta have it. Then, grab a magnifying glass or zoom in with your phone camera. Look for doubling on the date, the word Liberty, and Abe's eyes and beard. If things look like they're vibrating or doubled, you might have something. The condition matters too. If it's scratched, bent, or looks like it survived a blender, it's probably not hitting that million mark. If it looks pristine and has clear doubling, it's time to get it graded. Contact PCGS or NGC. They're the big dogs, and no, don't take it to your cousin Mike. He still thinks the nickel with gum on it is rare. Alright, let's say lightning strikes and you've got the one. The penny. The jackpot. What now? You don't just toss it on eBay for $5 and a sandwich. You want to go through a reputable coin dealer or auction house. Stax Bowers, Heritage Auctions, or even PCGS partner auctions are good starting points. They'll help you get top dollar and avoid scammers. Also, don't clean the coin. I know, it sounds weird, but cleaning a coin can actually destroy its value. Just keep it safe, dry, and tucked away until it gets professionally examined. You might also want to get insurance on it. Imagine losing a $1 million coin because it slipped between your car seat and the center console. That would hurt more than stepping on a Lego.so. There you have it, folks. The humble 2017 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. It may look like a regular coin, but if it's got that special error and mint state condition, it could be your ticket to millionaire status. All from something you might have just tossed in a tip jar. Next time you get change at the store, take a second and look closely. That penny could be your golden goose in disguise, and hey, if you enjoyed this wild ride through the world of coin collecting, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and ring that bell so you never miss another tip on coins worth real money. Wouldn't you rather find a $1.7 million penny than scratch off another losing lottery ticket? Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, happy hunting, and may your next penny be a priceless one. Hey folks, grab your coffee, your reading glasses, and maybe even your lucky coin pouch, because what I'm about to tell you could quite literally flip your fortune on its head. What if I told you that a plain-looking penny from 1987, yep, that everyday coppery coin with old Abe Lincoln sitting proudly on the front, could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million? You probably look at me the way my wife does when I say I'll clean out the garage. Skeptical, amused, but deep down a little hopeful. Now before you start dumping your coin jars all over the floor, hear me out. This isn't some get-rich-quick nonsense. We're talking real coin collectors, real rarity, and real big money. Today, we're diving deep into the story behind the 1987 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and why one of these babies is fetching $1.8 million in today's market. So sit back, relax, and let's dig into the story of how a 1-cent coin can turn your wallet into a treasure chest. Alright, first things first. Let's talk about the basics. The 1987 Lincoln penny was part of the standard issue coins released by the United States Mint. Most were produced at either the Philadelphia or Denver mints. Now, coins from Denver carry a little D mark and coins from San Francisco, usually proofs, carry an S. Philadelphia coins often had no mint mark at all, especially for pennies, but here's where it gets juicy. There's a certain batch of 1987 Lincoln pennies that are missing the mint mark when they weren't supposed to be. That's the money shot right there. These aren't your ordinary Philadelphia no mint mark pennies. They're from a die error, a rare one, that slipped past the mint's usual quality control. Now before you start checking every single 1987 penny you've ever touched, I've gotta tell you, not every no mint mark coin from that year is worth millions. But some very specific ones are. It's all about the coin's condition, the die variety, and that golden word every coin collector dreams about, rarity. Let me tell you how I stumbled into the world of coin hunting. A few years back, I was cleaning out my late grandfather's dusty coin collection. Most of it was old nickels, some buffalo heads, a bunch of wheat pennies, and honestly, I didn't know squat about coin values back then. I figured it was just sentimental stuff. But there was one 1987 penny in a little Ziploc bag, no mint mark, and it just felt different. The shine, the sharp details, the way Abe's beard looked extra stylish, something told me it was worth checking out. Now I didn't hit the jackpot with that one, but it got me hooked. Down the rabbit hole I went. I started researching error coins, mint marks, die varieties, and next thing you know, I'm watching coin auctions at midnight like a teenager on a Netflix binge. And that's when I came across the legend of the 1987 no mint mark penny worth over $1 million. The specific high-value 1987 penny was struck using a die that was meant to be marked, either with a mint mark or specific proof features, but ended up blank. That means something went wrong at the production level and the coin slipped through the cracks unnoticed. These little errors are super rare. These pennies weren't just rare. They're often in near-perfect condition. In the world of coin grading, we're talking about MS67 or higher. That's mint state, practically untouched, no scratches, no dullness, no signs of life having kicked it around in someone's jeans pockets since the 80s. There are collectors out there, and I mean big money collectors, who are willing to pay top dollar for these oddities. The rarer, the better. And when word gets out about one of these coins showing up at auction, the bidding gets hotter than a 4th of July barbecue point. One such penny showed up a couple of years ago at a high-profile auction. It had no mint mark, was in flawless condition, and had documentation verifying its unique error status. It sold for $1.8 million. That's not monopoly money. That's buy a house, get a boat, and still have enough left over for tacos money. Let that sink in. One single penny that you could easily mistake for just pocket change went for nearly $2 million. Now I know what you're thinking. What are the odds of finding one? Well, I'll be honest, they're slim. Like, try finding a snack in my fridge right after the kids got home slim. But here's the deal, they're out there. You never know. That penny sitting in your glove box, that coin you got back as change from the gas station, or even one buried at the bottom of your couch cushion could be the golden goose you've been sitting on. Let me tell you about my buddy Charlie. Good guy, loves fishing, hates paperwork, and didn't know a thing about coins. One day, he sees a video kind of like this one, decides to check his coin jar, and boom, finds a 1972 double die penny worth over $5,000. Not quite millionaire status, but he did take his wife on a cruise and hasn't shut up about it since. If you think you've got something special, send it in to be professionally graded. That little plastic case can make a big difference in price. You can also compare your coin to verified examples online or visit a local coin show and get some face time with the experts. Trust me, coin people are passionate. A little too passionate sometimes. I once saw two guys nearly come to blows over a 1914 D wheat penny. It was like the Super Bowl of nerd fights, so there you have it. The humble 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a simple little coin that could be sitting in your change jar, hiding in plain sight, worth a staggering $1.8 million. Now, I'm not saying you're going to find one tomorrow. But here's what I am saying. Every great treasure hunt starts with curiosity. And whether you're a lifelong collector or just someone who found this video while looking for cat memes, checking your coins is one of the easiest, cheapest, and most exciting hobbies out there. Before you go flipping over your couch cushions and raiding your kids' piggy banks, do me one favor. Hit that subscribe button. Seriously. We've got more coin tips, hidden money strategies, and unbelievable coin finds coming your way. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. Hey folks, have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, hey, it's just a penny? Well, you might want to think again. Because today, we're talking about a 2014 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. Yep, you heard me right. 1 cent, turning into a fortune big enough to retire on a yacht, sipping sweet tea and watching bald eagles fly by. Now, before you start digging through your couch cushions like a raccoon on a caffeine rush, let me tell you this isn't your average pocket change. This penny is rare, mysterious, and one of the most sought-after coins in modern U.S. history. So grab your magnifying glasses, friends, because this video is going to walk you through everything you need to know about the legendary 2014 no mint mark Lincoln penny. I'll tell you what to look for, how it got to be so valuable, and why it's turning heads in the collector world, and somewhere in the middle of this, I'll tell you a little story about the time I passed up a valuable penny and cried about it later. Well, if you're holding a 2014 penny right now, flip it over and check the front, right under the year. Most of them should have a little D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, depending on where they were minted. But every once in a blue moon, you'll find one with nothing there. Just a lonely little 2014 date, Now, you might be thinking, big deal. Maybe they forgot to stamp it. And you're kind of right. But here's the kicker, these no-mint mark coins aren't just minting mistakes. They're ultra-rare variations, and collectors lose their minds over them. In the case of this 2014 Lincoln penny, the missing mint mark is believed to be the result of a unique die error at the Philadelphia Mint. Usually, Philly coins don't show a mint mark, but in modern times, nearly all coins have some identifier. This one didn't. And that makes it special. Add to that a flawless finish, a strong strike, and uncirculated condition, and you've got yourself a once-in-a-generation coin. This little copper-colored treasure has been graded by top certification services and in mint state. We're talking MS69 or MS70. It has fetched prices up to $1.9 million at auction. You heard me. A penny. 1 cent worth more than most homes. There were only a handful of these known to exist in such pristine condition, and when collectors see a unicorn like that, the bidding wars get wild. I'm talking heated auction houses, folks waving paddles like they're at a rodeo. A few years back, I was at a flea market. You know, one of those places where someone's junk might be your $1 million find. I'm rummaging through a jar of coins some guy was selling for $10 a scoop. Yeah, a scoop like we're buying candy. And I see a shiny 2014 penny with no mint mark. A month later, the exact same flea market guy sells a rare penny to a collector for over $100,000. Was it the one I saw? I don't know. But to this day, every time I see a penny, I give it the full detective treatment. So don't be like me. Don't let your $1 million moment slip through your fingers. If your penny checks those boxes, you could be holding a gold mine disguised as a coin that everyone else ignored. And hey, even if it's not the one, keep checking. Because pennies like this don't scream, "I'm valuable." They whisper it, and only people who pay attention can hear them. Well, the coin collecting world is full of high rollers. Some folks have coin collections that are worth more than luxury cars. They're always looking for that next headline-grabbing acquisition. If you've got a verified 2014 no mint mark Lincoln penny, you better believe people will line up with checkbooks in hand. So there you have it. A plain old penny that's anything but plain. The 2014 no mint mark Lincoln penny is the kind of coin that changes lives, quietly sitting in a piggy bank or coin jar, waiting to surprise someone smart enough to take a second look. Treasure is hiding in plain sight. In your change, in that old coin jar, maybe even in your glove box. You don't need to be a millionaire to find one. But you could become one if you do, and if you liked this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I've got tons more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that are worth serious money. We're talking quarters, dimes, nickels, even nickels that could pay off your mortgage. I'll teach you how to spot them, how to grade them, and how to make sure you never throw away a fortune by mistake. Hit that like button if you learned something new. Drop a comment if you've ever found a coin that turned out to be more than just pocket change. I love hearing your stories. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. What if I told you that a coin that's been sitting in your pocket or maybe even buried in the bottom of your drawer could be worth a small fortune? Sounds crazy, right? Well, get ready to be blown away because today we're talking about the 1968 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, that unassuming little penny from over 50 years ago could be worth up to $1 million in today's market. You heard me right, $1 million. And no, I'm not pulling your leg here. Stick around because I'm about to walk you through exactly why this penny is worth more than just the cost of a cheap cup of coffee. Plus, I've got a personal story to share about how I nearly missed out on finding something truly valuable in my own coin collection. Spoiler alert, it involves a lot of oops moments. But hey, that's part of the thrill of coin collecting, right? So grab your magnifying glass and settle in because we're diving deep into the world of the 1968 no mint mark penny, how to spot it, and why it might just be the golden ticket to your financial future. Now, before we get into the details of this little treasure, let me give you some quick background. In 1968, the US Mint made a bunch of pennies, but here's where things get interesting. Some of them didn't have a mint mark. The mint mark, if you didn't know, is that little letter you'd usually see on the coin's obverse. That's the head side for you non-coin geeks out there. Normally, it tells you where the coin was made. Philly pennies? No mint mark. Denver? You'd see a D. San Francisco? You'd see an S. But in 1968, some of those pennies came out of Philadelphia with no mint mark at all. Now, you might be thinking, okay, But what's the big deal about a penny with no mint mark? Well, that's where it gets juicy. See, the absence of that mint mark is actually what makes these pennies so rare. In a sea of millions of pennies that were produced that year with mint marks, this little mistake, or rare occurrence, depending on how you look at it, stood out. And the more collectors and coin experts started to catch on, the more the price of these bad boys started skyrocketing. It all comes down to rarity and demand. When something is rare, it's valuable, and coin collectors, myself included, get really excited when they come across something this elusive. And remember, we're not talking about just any penny here. This is an Abraham Lincoln penny, so it has that iconic design that's been around for over a century. The fact that it's got no mint mark and it's from 1968? That's the perfect storm of rarity and historical value. Now, I bet you're sitting there thinking, okay, sounds good, but how the heck do I spot one of these bad boys? Fair question. First, let's start with the basics. If you've got a penny from 1968, check the obverse, that's the head side again, and look for the spot where the mint mark should be. If there's nothing there, boom, you've got yourself a 1968 no mint mark penny. But don't get too excited just yet. It's not just about the date and the missing mint mark. You've got to take into account the condition of the coin too. Just like with anything collectible, the better the condition, the higher the value. A well-preserved, shiny penny could fetch a pretty penny, pun intended. But a penny with scratches, dents, or wear and tear? Not as much. The better the grade, the closer you'll get to that $1 million price tag. Now, let's talk about how you can cash in on your own 1968 no mint mark penny if you happen to have one, or two, or three. First, you'll want to get your penny professionally graded. The grade is a huge factor in determining the coin's value. There are a couple of major grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) and the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) that can help you out. They'll give your coin a grade from 1 to 70, and that will determine its value. Coins in mint condition are the ones that fetch the big bucks. Let me throw in a little nugget of wisdom from my own experience. A few years ago, I was rummaging through my collection of loose change, kind of like one of those, let's see what I've got moments, and I came across a penny that looked like it could be from the 60s. At first glance, it seemed like just another old coin. But after doing some research, I realized that it was a 1968 no mint mark penny. Long story short, I almost passed it over until I realized what I had. That coin turned out to be worth several $100 in its condition, and I learned a valuable lesson about really paying attention to the details. Well, first of all, always double-check your change and your coin collection. A penny that looks like nothing special might just turn out to be a hidden gem worth thousands or even $1 million. The 1968 no mint mark penny is a perfect example of how something as small as a missing mint mark can skyrocket the value of a coin. If you've got one of these pennies or any other rare coins sitting around, now's the time to give them a closer look. Get your coins graded, do your research, and you might just find yourself holding onto a piece of history that's worth more than you ever imagined. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want more tips, tricks, and stories about rare coins and how to build your coin collection. I'll be sharing more secrets on coins worth money, and trust me, you don't want to miss out on any of it. If you want to get serious about your coin collecting game, you've got to stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video where we'll dive into more coins that could make you rich. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Have you ever stared at your loose change and thought, what if this little penny is worth more than I could imagine? Well, today you might just want to dig through that jar of pennies sitting in your drawer, because today we're talking about the 1998 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and this little coin could be sitting on a cool $1.2 million. Yes, you heard me right, million. So grab a snack, sit back, and let's dive into what makes this seemingly regular penny a gold mine. All right, let me set the stage for you. A couple of years ago, I was going through my old coin collection, pulling out pennies, half dollars, and quarters, just reminiscing about my childhood. You know the routine, thinking back to the days when I would casually toss pennies into a jar. I even had a stack of them just sitting there, doing absolutely nothing. Nothing. Until I stumbled upon one tiny coin that seemed a bit off. Now, at first glance, it was just another 1998 penny, nothing too spectacular. But here's the twist. I noticed that it had no mint mark. I had heard rumors of rare coins being worth ridiculous amounts, But this was just, well, a penny, right? And this was before I really dove into coin collecting in depth. I was skeptical, but curiosity got the best of me, and I started digging into it. Lo and behold, I discovered that this very coin, this exact kind of penny, could potentially be worth up to $1.2 million. That's right, million. How can a penny, one that's been hanging around since 1998, be worth so much? Well, let me explain. First off, you need to understand that it's not just about the year, it's about something much more specific. The absence of the mint mark. The 1998 penny is one of the few years when pennies were made at the Philadelphia Mint without the P mint mark. For most coins, the mint mark indicates where they were made. But for some reason, this particular run of pennies, about 4.5 million of them, were struck without any mint mark at all. The result? A rare error that collectors go crazy for. Here's where it gets interesting. Back when these pennies were first released, no one thought twice about them. But over time, coin collectors began to notice the absence of the mint mark, and that tiny detail became a major deal. Imagine walking around with a penny that you probably tossed in the fountain, and later finding out it could pay off your mortgage. That's the magic of coin collecting. Now, let's talk about value. You might be wondering, what's the deal with $1.2 million? Well, most of these 1998 no-mint mark pennies don't even come close to that value. The most famous examples, which are in near-perfect condition, are the ones that can fetch upwards of $1.2 million. It's all about rarity and condition. If you have one of these pennies that's been preserved in mint condition, with no signs of wear or damage, you might just have a gold mine in your hands. However, even if your penny isn't in perfect condition, it could still be worth a pretty penny, pun intended, depending on its grade. Coins in good condition can still fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Here's a fun little tip. Most people who find these pennies often have them tucked away in jars, shoeboxes, or old coin rolls. Coin rolls from the late 1990s are a great place to start if you want to track one of these down. Just be sure to check the mint mark and look for that little giveaway, the absence of the P dot. But hey, don't get discouraged if you don't find one. Rare coins aren't the easiest things to stumble upon. I certainly didn't find one every time I dug through my stash. Sometimes, I felt like a kid searching for the golden ticket in a chocolate bar. But the key here is persistence. Every time I checked my coins, it was like finding buried treasure. Speaking of which, that's a great segue into talking about coin grading. If you think you've found one of these bad boys, your next step is to get it graded. There are professional grading services like PCGS or NGC that will evaluate the condition of your coin. The higher the grade, the more valuable it becomes. A penny with a high grade, especially one with no mint mark, could be your ticket to a pretty comfortable retirement. But be prepared. Grading costs money too, and it's a process that can take a while. And of course, remember that while we're talking about one incredibly rare penny, not every coin you find will be worth a fortune. But hey, that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's not just about finding a rare coin. It's about enjoying the hunt and learning along the way. Trust me, if you ask any serious coin collector, they'll tell you that it's the thrill of the chase that makes it all worth it. The 1998 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Who would have thought that such a simple coin could hold so much value? Now, before you rush off to check your penny jar, remember that it's about the hunt, the knowledge, and the little discoveries you make along the way. And hey, if you do happen to find one of these rare pennies, don't forget to thank me, for all the good advice. If you want to stay ahead of the game and get more tips on coin collecting, smash that subscribe button and join the crew. I've got a ton more videos about rare coins that are worth way more than you'd think. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next coin discovery. Plus, who doesn't want to turn a humble penny into a fortune, right? So, before you go off to check your coins, remember this. Coin collecting isn't just about finding wealth. It's about enjoying the journey. And who knows, you might just find that $1.2 million penny along the way.